Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Fact or Fiction Friday. I'm Brennan,
Hi guys, I'm Shanae.
and we have a good one for you today. So, BS Detectors, we want to see you with your magnifying glass.
Glasses.
That's right. We pick up on some hints and some clues. Start putting your magnifying glasses down in the comments below.
And if you don't know how to find them, you can search in your emojis. You have a little search button where you can search for it. So we want to see them.
Yep. And if you don't, just put your comments anyway.
Yeah.
We want to see some interaction. Let us know what you think about the story, and we will get started.
All right.
All right. So this story is of a very smart, educated, and beautiful woman. Oh, talk about yourself. All right. She dedicated her life to learning, teaching, and raising her extremely talented son, who would grow up to become a global superstar.
Wow. All right. Born July of 1949 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, she would go on to attend college to receive a bachelor's degree in English and then later her PhD. She was married and had one son before she divorced and became a single mother. Her son was 3 years old at that time. And they had a very close relationship, and he shared her love of words.
She started her teaching career at the university level. When her son was 10 years old, they would leave for China for a year where she taught English in Nanjing. Her son thrived in the Mandarin language while he attended school there. Her dream was for her son to go to college and be successful.
Yeah, so when her son was 5 years old, he started writing poetry. And at 5, wow. He started showing a passion for music as well as drawing by the time he was in the 3rd grade. And by the time he was in the 7th grade, he was making his own music and selling it to people. She decided to let him go into the recording studio at 13 years old, where he was mentored and learned to use the equipment in the studio to make beats of his own. When he graduated from high school, he did go to college where he took painting classes, as well as still doing his music on the side.
Side hustle.
He would eventually transfer to university, where he would follow in his mother's footsteps and major in English.
Music was still the most important thing to him, and when he decided to drop out of college, it was a big deal to his mom. But he felt that college was taking too much time away from his music. She loved her son, so she supported his decision, although having a college dropout was not in her plans. She knew how passionate and talented he was, so she supported him.
Her son moved to California to do music full time, and eventually she retired from teaching to become his manager. And then she moved to California as well. She took being his manager very seriously. When he became famous, she was often his date on the red carpets as well. She would go on to write a book about raising a superstar, and she and her son started foundations to help high school age kids to learn how to learn music and help to fix the dropout rate.
A few months after her book was released, she decided, after much research, to go under the knife and have a breast reduction and tummy tuck, among other things. She would have the surgery and go home to heal under the supervision of a nurse who was a relative and others. The first 24 hours after a major surgery is the most critical time, and she made it through all of that. But the next day, she started having complications, and the ambulance was called to her house. She passed away a day after having surgery.
Her son, who was out of town working, rushed to her when he found out what happened. His next concert, he would dedicate 2 songs to her, and dedicating things to her would be something he would do often in his career from that point on. All right, guys. So we are done with the story. We talked about a beautiful woman who was successful in her own right, and she wanted that for her only son. She wanted world and all the success for her son as well. And when he dropped out of college, she just didn't know what was going to happen, but he would go on to become a superstar.
Yep.
So what do you guys think about the story? Do you think the story is fact or fiction?
Yep. Comment your magnifying glass below and let us know what you think.
Did you catch any clues on this one to let you know if this story is fact or fiction? Let us know down below.
All right.
All right. This story.
All right. This story is facts.
This is the story of Dr. Donda C. West. That is the mother of Kanye or Ye West.
Easy.
As we mentioned, education was very important to Dr. West. When her son dropped out of college, she had to change her way of thinking and support him. And if you know anything about Kanye West, if you are a fan, if you just know him from afar, he is a rapper among a lot of other things. But his first album,
College Dropout.
And now you see why that name was what it was, because it was, to him, the theme of that album was make your own decisions, don't let society tell you. This do not let society tell you this is what you have to do. So in that, it was kind of his way, because his whole life, I'm sure his mom was like, college. She had her PhD, guys. Mm-hmm. And so people like that, they think that is the way. And a lot that is changing so much. And she had to shift her whole way of thinking. And if you, like I said, if you know who this person is, look how successful he is. And so yeah.
Yep. College Dropout, that was my album. College Dropout, and then Late Registration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Late Registration too.
So, Graduation.
Yeah, he had themes when it came to his and now you kind of get the backstory of what that was.
After his mom's death, he would continue music. Then he would later get engaged and eventually get married and have children. He would become a fashion designer, and he even dabbled in politics, architecture, filmmaking, and he also established a choir and put out a Christian album. Mm-hmm. He pays homage to his mom, who was also his manager, and he has continued to walk in the success that she wanted for him. So his clothing line, I mean, I ain't trying to hate on her. I mean, I can't be getting with it.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive. That's one reason why I can't get with it. And then some of it, I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's expensive, and it's kind of like plain.
Yeah.
People love it though. Mm-hmm. In California, there is now a law established by Governor Schwarzenegger called Donda's Law. This requires a patient to pass a physical evaluation before undergoing elective surgery. Since this law was passed, it is safe to say that her heart wasn't strong enough for surgery, but we will say allegedly, because in my research I came across different causes of death. So I don't want to put out the false information about what caused her death. There's a lot of finger pointing and things like that. So we'll just say that since this law did get passed and it's named after her, then we could assume that they're saying that her heart wasn't strong enough for surgery. So this law is important because also allegedly there's a lot of plastic surgery going on in California. So it's good to make sure that everyone's safe before they get it. Mm-hmm. All right. So are you a fan of Kanye West, or used to be a fan?
Yeah, I was a fan of College Dropout.
His first couple albums.
The first three.
Well, there was one album I used to listen to, but
the 808 Heartbreak.
I think it was the one before that, because that's when he started singing on that one. 808 Heartbreak. So the one before that.
Graduation.
Graduation.
Yeah.
That was I like that album. But Kanye West, when he came out, he did have like you know, he was like, he came out as a Christian kind of.
Remember because when he came out, it was through the wire because he had
through the wire because he had a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
But his big major album was College Dropout,
yep,
right?
That was the first one. Yep, that was the very first one that I know of.
Yeah,
he might have underground work that I mean I'm not real sure about, but the one I am familiar with is College Dropout.
Yeah. So he had like a Jesus Walks and stuff like that. But then like recently, like with the last couple of years, he started this whole like choir. And I mean, I've heard them like different videos on YouTube. I mean, they sound good. I haven't heard the album, but the latest album he has is called Donda after his mom. And so, like I said, he would always, like we said, he would always dedicate things to his mom. From experience, you know, losing your mom is something so different. And, you know, this is his way. He always is going and dedicating things and stuff like that to his mom. And I think that's really cool. But yeah, I think, you know, they call him a genius. They say, like, the way his brain works and things like that, that he's on that level of a genius.
Yeah, because I mean, he was making beats and everything before like his album, the album's coming out. I found out he made beats for a lot of.
That's what he did. So when his mom got him the time in the studio when he was 13, and that's where he learned how to use all the equipment. And
investing. That's what you're investing in your seed.
Yeah, because she didn't feel like it was necessarily safe because they was in Chicago. She didn't feel like it was like the safest environment for her son, but she would go with him, and then he got under. You know, he got like kind of like an apprenticeship, but he got mentored by a DJ that knew everything and taught him. And, you know, from 5, he was writing poetry. So if you think about like,
I don't know, walking at 5.
That's amazing. Like writing, you know,
writing with the big fat crayon.
Exactly. You know, so poetry and music are very similar. So to be able to write poetry at 5, I mean, it kind of makes sense to progress into writing music and writing and making music and things like that. So pretty cool. You know, a lot of people have their opinions on him, but you know that's why we kind of went with his mom because she was also an amazing person as well. I couldn't find a lot about her childhood. All right, guys, we rambled again. Yep. Thanks for stopping by and watching our video.
Yep. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends and family.
Yes, share with a friend.
Yep, about the BS station. Let them know we out here.
Yeah.
And then until next time.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Hi.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Fact or Fiction
Friday. Dogs are barking. Hey! Stop it! Stop barking!
Alright.
So she was born in July of 1949. She would go on. Is that a track team?
I know, what's going on? Oh, well, she passed out. You see her holding her gun? She's still holding her gun. Oh.
Alright.
They done brought the dogs up there. Or kids up there. She started her teaching career at a university level. When her son was 10 years old, they would leave for China for a year where she taught English in Nanjing. She started her teaching career at the university level.
Yeah, Nanjing is the city in China. Okay.
I just make sure I said it right.
Okay.
After his mother's death, he would continue music, and he would later get engaged, marry, and have children. He would become a famous designer, and he would dabble in politics, architecture, filmmaking. He also established a choir and put out a Christian album. He pays homage to his mom.
Can you start? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, but it's homage. That word is homage. And then you said famous designer, but can we make sure it's a fashion designer?
Oh, okay.
It gives it a different kind of a meaning.
Okay.
Yeah.
After his mom's death, he would continue